Ken Sumera. I'm a dude. I get to work with people in regards to cryptocurrency and personal development. I've gotten to work with Strix since like 2010, 2011, 2012, around those years, and I became the person I am today thanks to Dr. Strix Toledo. He's a good guy. Yeah.
Thank you, Ken. You're sweet, man. Next, please.
Yeah. So again, I'm Joyson Barago. So I'm an IT professional working in a bank, a local bank before, and now I'm working in IBM. And as part of my job, in dealing with people, Ken and Strix really helped me a lot in my professional day-to-day activities, especially with dealing with my clients and dealing with my direct reports. So from NLP, from Jason Principe to Strix Toledo's productivity systems and etc. A lot has been changed on the way how I see and handle things on a day-to-day basis, and even on the planning and goal setting and how to keep focus on very destructive world, especially on my end as an IT. So that's it. And Romel is love, of course. Ayo, brother.
Thank you, Joyson. Pass the ball, please.
Of course, to Romel.
Wala taong choice, ah. So yeah, I'm Romel, and what I do is I train freelancers and agents owners close their clients, and most of the materials that I use, and I learned them from these guys, from Strix, his Convo Hip, and Ken, the persuasion guy. And after attending like Strix Limitless, I started to see things from a different perspective. I started from the tunnel like seeing things, and from there I started to learn like step back and see things from different perspective, from up, below, and from side, and to understand things better. So from there, like I started doing like teaching this materials from my friends and other clients as well, and it helped them like gain clarity from this distracted world. So yeah, kudos to this guy, and yeah, nice to meet you guys.
Thank you, Romel. Pass the ball, please.
Of course, to Mark.
Hi, good evening. My name is Mark. So, Sir Strix, Sir Ken, Joyson, and Sir Romel opened the world, introduced me to the world and the universe of Hypnocom and Intro to Hypnosis. And I work as a business development officer in a company, and all the concepts I learned here I apply in the work, and helps me to climb the corporate ladder fast. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Pass the ball, please. And
Okay.
thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Cherry.
Hi, sorry.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Che. I'm a physician by profession. I'm also an NLP practitioner and a conversational hypnotherapist. My first mentor in conversational hypnotherapy is Trix Toledo, and I also learned focus and productivity from him. And from Ken naman, he was my mentor in basic hypnotherapy and persuasion. Ano pa? Ayun. I learned a lot from them, and ayun, mga idol. I'm happy to be here.
Hey, happy
So
to have
I'll
you.
pass the ball to Rona.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hi everyone. I'm Rona, and I'm working in accounting firm, and I've known Sir Dr. Strix. He also I also had a therapy with my back home with him, and also I used to I learned a lot of productivity techniques and NLP hypnosis with their group with Ken and the Seven Prime, and those activities or lessons that I learned really changed me a lot. I'm also waiting the Limitless. I think I've already attended all of their seminars or webinars except for that Limitless. So I'm still waiting for that. Of course, then I'll pass the ball to Mappy.
Thank you.
Hi guys, kamusta kayo? I'm Abby and I've been a client of Strix and Ken. I think 3 years ago. So there, uh, yun lang muna. It's nice to be with you guys again. I really miss this kind of session. Yun lang. Thank you.
Thank you. There's gonna be more because there's just a lot I wanna put out there. Thanks for joining us again. Pass the ball, please. Anyone?
Julius?
Julius.
Hi everyone. My name is Julius. I'm a father of 3 kids, so it's really important for me to have that kind of energy. And energy is one of the topics na the main topic of Dr. Strix. I've known him 2020. I feel lost ako nung mga panahon na yon. I don't know exactly what to do. I made some success before, pero for me like it's not something that I really want to continue for the next years. And then after that, I lost a few family members, and then got back. Basically, I keep in touch with Dr. Strix. It's so important to have that kind of communication with him. I got some personal mentorship from him, and the way he like helped me get clarity on what I really want. And the most important topic I've learned from him probably is that you know was that like the racing reality topic where from jumping to one adjacent line to another adjacent line. So what happened kasi is masyado akong ambitious. I want to jump from this part of life to 10 years from now that I could have achieved without all the hard work and without all the headache and emotional all of those emotional struggles. So because of that advice, I was able to get back, let's say this last year. I decided to get a full-time job na hindi full-time. I mean, I'm working only 2 hours per day, pero yung payment is like for a full-time role, for a multiple six figures role as a head of customer education for a business coaching company. And then ko realized na, yeah, this is the right path for me. And for the past 7 months, I've been just focused on what I'm doing. And then now I'm benefiting from that kind of focus. Now I was able to come up with something as a side hustle. Now will really transform everything this year. I told that to him a while ago. It's really transforming. So yeah, that's that's my short story with Dr. Strix.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you very much for sharing, Julius. Pass the ball, my friend.
Sure. Possible to Olive.
Uy, sir.
Hi. Ginig ako.
Huli ka.
Oh my God. Dami tao dito pala. Ano, just like a few. No. Goodness. I just thought a few people. Hi, hello. Okay. Ano sasabihin ko pala dito? I
No,
don't know.
yeah, short introduction, and if you learned or worked with me in any capacity,
all right.
like
Okay.
what have you learned? That's most useful. Quick lang.
Everything. Okay. Every conversation that I have with you is always something I'm picking up something. I mean something that's very useful and practical because knowing how I think, and then what I'm trying to say is the way that you articulate things actually helps me like figure out and sort my mind also. So it's like that constant communication helps me improve also how to navigate with my own brain, something like that. So it was a continuous journey, and I think there's so many familiar people here. Ken, I love you. Maya ka. That's all I can say. Oh wait, I think there's more people here. And thanks, Julius. Nice to see you here. Also, we're in the same tribelet. Yeah, in the tribe. And naging shout out. No, sorry, niya ako roll call, but I don't want to take so much
It's
of
okay.
your time. Yeah, but shout out to is that Amira? Yeah. God, it's Amira.
and
You have to say that.
Thank you. Could you pass the
And
ball? Pass the ball,
sure.
please.
Has anyone passed the ball to one of the person with the biggest balls? That Casey, are you still there? I think I saw Casey. Sorry guys,
Crazy
I'm in a
idea.
coffee
I'm
shop.
here.
Edison.
I'm
Yeah.
here.
Can I pass the ball to you?
Yeah, sure, why not? Of course, of course. I'll catch
Cool.
anything you throw at me.
Good.
anyways. Hello, everyone. Hello, people there. Mga kapong students. Okay, so I'm Edison.
Liv,
I've been,
Liv, you might
yeah,
want to
Yes.
turn your mic off, Liv.
Sorry.
No,
Hi,
my,
bye. Okay, all right.
Thank you.
my party ka eh. You're not inviting us. But anyway,
I know,
hello,
right?
everyone. Yeah. Hello. So where was I? No, pang ilang restart ko. Okay. So
Sorry, we couldn't hear
let
a
me
thing.
see. I've been a student of Strix, Ken, and everybody for goodness, I don't remember. It's been a while. I just know I'm their most one of their most active and lazy students at the same time, and I'm very glad for that. And gosh, yung what Olive was saying kanina, okay, so this is me because of the things I've learned from them constantly. It's I'm on a journey to being, living the life that I feel like I was really meant to be. And sabi ni Olive, and all that stuff, because the future, I don't know what's going to happen, but when cannabis becomes legal in the Philippines, I'm part of a group that will be definitely having a front row seat when that happens. So, and none of that could have been possible without the help and the guidance that I get from Strix, Ken, Luigi, plus everybody else, and everybody else who I've gotten to interact with. Always learning something new. So, thank you, and I'm passing it to. Is she still here? Yoo-hoo, Amira. Are you there?
She went off when you
Yeah, nawala na naman, as usual.
said her name.
Narinig agad eh, ganyan.
You
Ganun
pass the
talaga
ball
yan eh.
to, I think, the person
Lexi,
that hasn't, Lexi.
yo, hi.
Yeah, hi. So good evening, everyone. So I'm Lexi from Cagayan de Oro. Yeah, ang layo ko, no? So I've I'm working as an environmental planner, and I've been a student of Strix and Ken since 2020, Hypnocom. And yeah, I've been learning and earning as well, coming from what I've learned from them. So yeah. And for number one lesson is I become a little bit more chatty right now. Well,
Mm,
so
good thing.
that's it.
Good thing. Huge difference.
Yeah.
You could pass the ball to Jeremy or Jay.
Jay.
Okay.
Hey, hello. Hi. Yeah.
Oh, hey. Hey,
Hello,
man.
sir. Hey, man. Yeah, I've actually new. This is my first time joining. Basically, I've never been a student of Strix. He's a mentor to my wife, and I opted out to include myself in this because I don't know. I want to try new things out. Try to see if I can learn. And yeah, hope to enjoy stuffs I've heard and basically note down some very good ideas. I'm expecting a lot, honestly.
Cool. My invitation for you and for everyone here is let this not just be a source for ideas, but for implementation. Not just insight on things, but doing something with them. So my invitation for you is leave a space where on your notes you'd usually new idea, have leave some space for, oh, what can I do, what can I try out, how do I test this, what can I use this on, and then work on that. That's my invitation for you. Take action step notes or to dos or tasks from what you've learned instead of just notes. I hope that helps.
Agreed. I'll
Cool.
already including that on the note.
Lovely. Great. You'll do great with this then. Who else? So we can get the show on the road.
Yep. Good evening. I'm Jeremy Nachaldas, recently graduated. And I've been an old student of Kuya Strix and Kuya Ken, and also Kuya Jason. I've grown a lot with them. And after all the techniques that I learned, what I learned most is learning about clarity and learning how much of a good effect that one person can do to the world with a kinder mindset. So
Cool.
Yeah, I could pass the ball to Kin. She just came in.
Hey, Ken. Please introduce yourself. Hello.
Yeah, introduce lang. Yeah, short introduction pa lang naman tayo.
Yeah. Please. Hello.
Hey, Quinn.
Hi, sorry.
Yeah,
Anong
yeah.
meron? Nag-send lang ng link sa akin bigla si Strix.
Na-miss ka lang namin.
Ano to? Parang bigla ako na-kidnap pa.
Sorry
Brings
na.
back
Pwede naman mag-opt out.
memories.
You don't have to be there. You don't have to be here if you don't like us.
Of course, I do love you
Grabe.
guys. Sure. Anyway, hi, I'm Kian from Cavite. And I met Ken Strix and sila Romel. Yeah, dahil sa NLP and through Romel then actually. So, I'm really excited kung ano yung pag-uusapan natin tonight. Kahit biglaan. And little background sa akin. Working student ako and yeah, I'm into sales. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks very much.
Pass
Is
the ball
anyone else?
to Luigi, the
Oh,
last one
wow.
to come in.
What's up?
Yeah. Introduce yourself, kind sir.
Hi guys, good evening. Most likely everybody knows me here. My name is Luigi. I'm founder of NLP Hypnosis Academy, and this is a surprise. I don't know what's up, but looks exciting.
It's a surprise. Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Everyone has
Surprise.
introduced themselves already. So at least we could, since this is recorded, we could at least speak in English for everyone to get to understand. All good?
Okay. And if we're good for the moment, I think I'll share a screen with everyone. Hang on. Cool. Hang on while I sort this out real quick. Share screen. Cool. You should see my screen. Can you?
Yep.
Great. Cool. Again, my name is Strix Toledo, and since most of you know me or are fairly familiar with stuff I do, or you've worked with me, coached with me in some fashion, or have mentored with me, or have joined some of the courses, what I'd like to do is skip certain areas of my presentation based on my understanding of how familiar you are with them, and then I'd like to try to do like a mini workshop or some work. Is that okay?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Yep. So, one of the tentative titles of what we're doing is how to get motivated, productive, and focused. What this is actually is an introduction to a course we're doing in March, and we're having a regional launch for, and are hoping to have in universities in the region, starting with our work with the Ministry of Education in Bangkok. And hopefully we get into a few other regions. We'll tell you later, but that's by June, July. And my intent for this was, well, to share what I'm doing with friends, to do an alpha run for a very first run, not even a beta run, to do a very first run, um, hoping to get feedback from you guys as to what I can improve, to help to have you back on the beta run with calibrations from what you've told me you would like to benefit from more, and then to integrate those lessons and learnings into the recorded on-demand course that we're going to do. And so this is an invite from which you'll get something useful already. And then I hope to do, if you have the time for it, a short workshop, very short. And then this is a non-disguised invite also to a paid workshop. This one isn't, but I hope you get more from this non-paid workshop than you usually get from other workshops you've attended. That being said, let's go. We're here because of these two guys. Can you see the words? Yeah? Hello? Yeah. We're here because of, I don't know if you've heard of these neurotransmitters, serotonin and dopamine. So I know it's February, but the only two things we actually like are these guys. Serotonin is related to sleep, wake, sex, appetite, and mood. And then dopamine is related with addiction. So let me tell you the first takeaway for the night. We do behaviors because these neurotransmitters kick in. And I'll tell you right now how to rewire one of them. It's the understanding that you've heard of dopamine, right? And how they say it's the addiction transmitter. Well, here's the kicker. We don't get the kick when we get the reward. We get the kick in anticipation of the reward. So a simple thing you can already do to your routines so that they more instinctively, automatically become habits is to include a celebration that you can look forward to. Very often, people postpone and do not include celebration, so they never really feel like they're done. Okay. One of the biggest problems with procrastination is actually a matter of fake perfection or fake perfectionism. Because what actually happens in the common perfectionism is people have no real idea of what done or being accomplished looks like. So they keep changing the goalpost and they never really get to celebrate. So what happens is that their habits extinguish themselves because there isn't a reinforcing mechanism in place. So again, when you're building a habit, you have a trigger, a routine, a reward, be sure you have something to look forward to that propels you forward. I hope that's been a good takeaway. And for those who have no other attention span, it was nice seeing you. That's enough for tonight. For everybody else who's staying, let's go. Are you still there, guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still here.
Yeah, I hope you got something from that first thing. Okay. What you learned here, what life-saving medicine and surgery can teach us about time management. How to get more important work done in about half the time or less, how to destroy distractions, how to overcome procrastination, how to get sustained motivation, how to get more clear and focused, and how to actually bend or control time. Of course, there'll be more implementation details in the more detailed workshop, but I hope to get you through this list during this little time we have. Anyway, are you familiar with FWB? It's February after all. FWB, yeah, focused with benefits.
Love it.
Great.
So you're gonna get a clear mind, more focused work output, better energy levels, a hopefully more sustainable lifestyle, and improved relationships and better in physical and emotional health. Remember that word, that acronym FWD. Short backgrounder. 24 hours a day. You spend about a third of it asleep. You spend about a third of it doing work or whatever it is that, you know, sustains your body and your family and your loved ones. You have about 8 hours. This is most people in the world. You have about 8 hours to do other things. And what happens with those 8 hours is we usually don't own them. What happens is, let's see, we spend about an hour and 42 minutes. This is worldwide average, taking care of just staying clean. So this is bathing. Here, the Philippine joke goes: brush your teeth, eat, and that's the 1 hour daily, so that you live, and then brush your teeth so that others can live. So that's the 1 hour daily of eating, and then the 1 hour 42 minutes of us taking a bath and daily hygiene. And um, more time is actually wasted doing other things. The 2 hours and 22 minutes here is the worldwide average for social media, non-useful social media. This is social media where you're not posting about your offer. This is just wasted time scrolling. In the Philippines, it's worse. It spikes up to 10 hours per day. I don't know how people are doing it, but they're able to spend 10 hours non-productively in the Philippines, most of us, on Facebook. So between 2 and 10 hours. And that was a shock to me. I'll say it in a different way. If you don't know who's in charge of your day, it's not you. If you aren't sure at the start of the day that you're in charge of your day, if at any point in time you were asked who's in charge of your day and you can't say it's you, I guarantee it's someone else. And it's just to illustrate what I think might be happening. This is for those who want to be of impact to other people. This isn't for people who just want information. Sorry. This definitely isn't for people for whom they're just looking for entertainment and something to do. This is for people who are looking for sanity, to have systems so that they don't go crazy, and who need to do that because they have to take care of others. So if you've got responsibilities, well, this is useful. The public run for acceleration will actually be focusing on students who are about to graduate and enter the workforce. Students in general, sure, but more specifically on university students who are about to graduate and join the workforce, and those already in the workforce. Because my regional partners have told me they've reviewed the data and productivity has dropped by 12% since the pandemic. So just because of the shift to work from home, a minimum of 12% in output is lost. Just because there aren't the usual things you're exposed to. There isn't the environment, there isn't the supportive co-worker, there isn't that routine. You don't even have to dress up. And most people left to their own devices, we're not very good at controlling ourselves. This is a screenshot of how my phone setup used to look like. It still looks kind of similar. The basic idea, number two, if you'd like to take home another idea, is build rituals so that they become habits. And then these habits will automate the rest of your life. Because, like it or not, right now, habits are running you. It's not you most of the time, it's the automatic things you do. So, my invitation is do something ritualistically that you decide on that carries over to become a habit. That's a good habit, and that takes care of you and the ones who are important to you. So that's my first invitation for the night. How many of you could relate with any of this? This is your invitation to set aside your other stuff. This won't take very long. It'll probably take about 45 minutes. Set aside your other stuff if you can, or step away when you need to. This is from Ken Ken. Is this familiar?
Yun yun sa, it's a Netflix thing, the chocolate. Yeah, the Filipino
This is from this is from Alexandra offering the Nuno chocolate. I'm basically saying here that for every magic, and we learned this from stuff as far back as Full Metal Alchemist, for every magic, there's a sacrifice. And that's kind of the sacrifice for the magic you're going to learn tonight, to give us a little attention and energy, to set aside the other stuff and invest in yourself. Said this way in Filipino. I'll go quickly through this. I've done a lot of stuff, and the craziest period in my life is probably 2004 to 2009. I was juggling several hats. I had a practice in, let's see, Quezon City, Marikina, and Cebu, and I was teaching university. I was teaching nursing students. And I had, at this time, a team of 18 physical therapists, arguably the Philippines' best. So I was managing all of that at the same time that I was taking care of 80 military families. And I'd rather not do that craziness again. And so a lot of the stuff I've done is just to make sure that I stay sane so I can protect the people who depend on me. And that's my hope for you too. You don't have to do the craziness I did. And that's kind of the point, so that you learn from stuff I've done wrong. I've coached around the world. One of my processes is running in about 88 to 90 countries now, as implemented by an organization that I can't go into too many details, but it impacts a hell of a lot of people, and particularly children worldwide in difficult to reach areas in particular. And that's come from my simplifying things into systems which are reproducible. So that's my hope for you. Create a system for yourself tonight. And we've done this locally with my friends who are on the call as well, including Ken and Luigi. And some of you are in this roll call. You'll recognize yourselves. Cool. So as we're going through this, write down on a sheet of paper. If you don't have a sheet of paper yet, you should have one. I don't suggest the phone, but here's the first thing to write down if you haven't written down the first two things I told you. Oh, why do you want to learn something new? Why do you want to learn how to be productive? Why do you want to learn how to not be stagnant? Why do you want to learn how to not be stuck? You know, what circumstances are you stuck with? You know, what's your motivation? What's your drive for doing this? You know, is it just you? I don't know if you've noticed, but we have a limited time on this planet. And each year we waste, there's less time available. So time will also seem to pass by more swiftly and seem like nothing useful has happened if we don't plan for it. So, you know, what's your motivation? What's your reason for, okay, this shit has to stop. I want to change. Who do I have to take care of? It could be you, you know, it could be someone else. It could be other people. It could be something you want to do. It could be people you want to help out. You know, what's your reason? Ken would be very familiar with this. A very good reason to know why you're here and try to learn what we're doing is something that's called opportunity cost. Let's say in crypto, a good deal comes. Like right now, the coins are on discount. If you don't have money set aside to buy these coins while they're down, that's lost opportunity cost. You know, something could 10x overnight, but if you didn't have something saved up for it, you can't. If you didn't sleep well, you can't function the next day. If you didn't figure out how to manage your energy, you'll be useless tomorrow. You know, so what's the cost? You know, what are you unable to do because you have not been able to prepare? Is my question here. Are you getting this, guys?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. What's the sacrifice I can make? What's the loss because I didn't make that sacrifice? You know, Netflix is nice, but if you have other stuff to do, you might want to do that before Netflix. this is mean. There are actually countdown to death timers that you can download on Android and iOS. Gives you an approximate idea of how long you have left. Some of them even ask for details like family history and what diseases and medications you have, just so you have an idea of, you know what, I've been wasting time doing nothing, but actually I don't have so much of it. Because that's the kicker. That's that's what you're spending. By not being focused, you're spending your energy and you're wasting your time, and you can't get that back. So really, how long do you have left to live, and what would you like to get done before you go? You know, this is kind of brutal. So I guess the theme for tonight is GYSIO, or get your shit in order. Nicely said. Get some focus. I put this in because there was a girl during one of the versions of this, and she was really angry because it seemed to me at the time that a lot of her identity was hinged on the fact that she believed wholeheartedly that she could multitask, that she was this magnificent unicorn that can do this magnificent, wonderful thing called multitasking. I'm sorry. Fact of the matter is, I'll tell you later. But can I get a show of hands? How many of you actually believe that you can multitask? I'm curious. Can I have a hello? Is anyone still here?
Still here.
Yep.
Can you
Hello.
multitask, guys?
No.
I know Ken can. I. So, so let's start with this. The one thing you really need to know, and you can leave right after this if you'd like, is that time management is BS. Time management is a lie. We can't really manage time. You have 24 hours. Try as best as you can. You cannot make it 30. Okay. You can slow down or speed up your perception of it, but time is kind of the fixed variable. Okay. So people who have been going at it the time management route have gotten it all wrong. And since they've been trying to control something they can't control, they've had no control. So my question for you guys is, if we need to be able to function around time, but we can't control time, what should we be controlling? Any ideas?
Ourselves.
Amen. Who said this, by the way? Hello? Who said that, by the way?
Is it your perception of how to accomplish the work?
Okay. Self-perception in relation to how to accomplish things. Okay. Cool. Anything else? Anyone? Yeah, energy. Okay. We'll go through that. Anyone else want to chime in? Okay. So I'm sorry we can't control time. Things to try. To anyone who says they can control time or that they're doing time management, it's still fashionable in antiquated practices or practice fields like human relations departments worldwide. They do time management. I don't know how they do it because my experience is it can't be done. Okay. And so we go through the 3 lies of time management, and things like that. Number 1 is the control and leverage lie. The misunderstanding about what to control. You see, we can't control time. What we can control is how much energy we're spending or bleeding. And the way to control our energy is to actually control our attention. So ultimately, the currency we're spending is our attention, our focus. And some people know this so well, they can control us. Notice how Facebook does it. Each habit is one step away. So it's addictive. Like, comment, share. That's the structure of a very well done habit. That's a structure of a very easy ritual to do. One step one step, one step. And by controlling our attention, it controls our energy and has control over how much time we waste. So my invitation, friends, first is you've heard it said that where attention is focused, that's where our energy flows. So my invitation is to figure out what you're focused on, because that's what controls how much you're feeding or how much you're bleeding. You can use energy as a calibration. How do I feel? How much energy do I need to spend? You can use that as a calibration, but the thing you really need to control is your focus. And a very important understanding around focus is that we used to think of focus as being like concentrating light like a laser beam. That's how we used to think about it. Diffused light and then concentrated as a singular point of light or laser beam. Our understanding now of focus, the neuroscience says that focus is more actually like you have a very large house with many rooms. And then focus is turning off the lights where you don't need it. So that if you're only in one room, turn off the other lights. That is what focus is like. And that is what the process of clarity or clarification actually is, the removal of the unessential so that we have the critical minimal that actually does the most work. Because there's this thing we call the Pareto principle, and it's an oversimplification of the basic idea that um, some things will waste the most time, and then some things will create the most resources or opportunities. So by example, 80% of the people you know will waste most of your time. 20% of the people you know will give you the most happiness. And these are just examples of the 80-20 rule. In crypto, 80% of the things you could put your money in will cause you a loss. 20% can maybe turn your bank for positive. Okay, and if you look at this, you'll find so many ways that the Pareto rule or principle can be applied across your life. Just think in terms of 80-20 and reassure yourself that the 80 is often not in your favor and you're looking for the 20% that's the highest leverage. Okay, you're looking for like what 20% of this activity or what 20% of this understanding or what 20% actions can deliver me 80% results. So you have a 3,600 return. Does that kind of make sense, guys? Halu?
Yep.
Cool.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Cool. Are you getting something from this, guys?
Oh
Yes.
yeah, we're starting to reevaluate.
Right. So
Yes.
my invitation is on your sheets. Look across your life, and if you'd like, my invitation actually is, if you'd like, we could do a mind dump, and I'll show you my personal systems if you'd like, so that you have like a guided tour of stuff you haven't evaluated in your life, and you could later begin to do a Pareto assessment or a focus assessment and go 80-20 through your life and see, what 20% should I actually be focused on that will produce actually 80% of the returns? What 80% should I set aside for later because they aren't doing me well? Does that kind of make sense?
Yep,
Yeah.
definitely.
Cool.
Yeah.
The second low-key lie is the myth of many. So there's this basic idea where, we're convinced, and we're convinced even more so now by technology, that we can multitask. The thing is, we cannot actually multitask. Okay, so you could try to do that now. Okay, at the same time of thinking that you're in this webinar, this training, this seminar, this meeting, think that you're also in Boracay. You got it? Are you
Yep.
there? Okay, now I'd like you to do both at the same time. And you'll find that the only way to do both at the same time is to shift between each. Let me say it in a different way. If you try when you're in the middle of the ocean in non-buoyant water to swim to the left and to swim to the right at the same time, you will drown. You have to choose where to go. Does that kind of make sense?
Yep.
Hello? Yeah. And if you hold up your hand in front of you, let's say 5 fingers, okay. if you add the length of all of the fingers, okay, that's longer than all of the fingers side to side. So in other words, if you spread your fingers out, that's like multitasking, not really going anywhere. But if you add them up in one direction, that's what focus is like. Okay? Because the neuroscience says we cannot actually multitask. What we could do is switch task or switch focus. Right? When we claim we're multitasking, we're just rapidly switching between tasks. Okay? And what happens is there's cognitive residue, in Philippines, latak, from the previous activity onto the next activity. Okay. So if you're concentrating on something, some of your thinking about that will transfer on to the new activity. Okay. And this is only feasible if you're not doing deep work. What deep work is cognitively demanding or mind demanding activities, things which require effort, which are highly valuable to many people. So watching Netflix is not deep work. Concentrating on figuring out a problem that produces solutions that will scale your company, that counts as deep work. Okay. So taking the time to strategize and execute, that's deep work. Okay. And then when people say they can multitask, and if you are the 0.3 to 3% unicorn that can actually multitask, congratulations. But most people aren't that. You're on some strange fluke of a genius. Chances are you're like everybody else, and that's not a bad thing. However, you cannot truly multitask. And the way to multitask, if you'd like, is, well, how I used to do it, which is I could concentrate on something while I had music playing. That's two different things. But one was carrier, one was signal. One was signal, one was just background noise. You cannot do two cognitively demanding tasks at the same time. So, by example, while I'm hiking in an area where I'm very familiar with the terrain, I could concentrate on a problem very intensely. That's a kind of multitasking. That's a kind of deep, focused work. Okay. But to have two cognitively demanding tasks, like you're trying to learn something, trying to study something, trying to learn, trying to do YouTube, trying to read something, you have the TV on. No, if you're just trying to understand everything at the same time, you have to switch off and then go to the next and then go to the next. And it takes longer and you get less from it. Are we making sense so far?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, of the seat work homework that after we mind dump, I would like for you to do, and you might like to write this down, figure out which of your activities you've been lying to yourself. You've been saying that you can actually do, but I will bet you can get done more focused, more effectively in shorter period of time if you just focused on it without multitasking. So by example, I could, I could focus on a problem poorly while fixing my room, going through my things, looking through memorabilia, and talking to people. It'll take me 8 hours, and I still won't get done. Okay. But you know what it's like when it's crunch time and you have to focus on something, and then suddenly you can do it in 30 minutes. Okay. So my invitation is, why not do that first? So you have celebration time to do everything else. Does that kind of make sense?
Yes.
Guys?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the examples of using this is, figure out what's truly of high impact, of the things which come up during our mind dump or mind flush. Start to cross out things which are a joke, which are multitasking, which are actually you're wasting time. And then figure out which few things you could focus on first, starting tomorrow morning, so that if you planned a win tonight, you could carry out that win tomorrow morning in the first 30 minutes of your day. And then the rest of the day is yours. And you already have that winner feeling. And then you could celebrate with it. Rather than those days when you didn't know what you were doing tomorrow and you didn't have anything planned and therefore you weren't in charge of your day. And then the first email that came, the first chat that came, that's it. It ate up your day. Got nothing done and you feel bad and you don't know why. Is this making sense, guys? Everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. And then the third lie of time management and productivity is the myth of mood. Um, this is a favorite even among friends before, where I'll wait until I feel better to do it. We're waiting until we're motivated, or we feel like it, or we feel better. And usually that time takes too long to come, and the opportunity has passed, and the opportunity cost piles up. It gets too costly to do something because we lost the proper time to do it, or we weren't able to build the resources or the focus or energy to do it because we wasted it on something else. So my invitation is, design a system so that you make sure that no day passes without a win. And preferably, you do that first thing. In Brian Tracy's work, this is called ETH, or uh, eat, ETH. Sorry, ETH or Ethereum. Eat the frog. Okay. So it's the ugly thing that's, if you get it done, it's done. And you can do other things. But it's the thing we usually avoid because it's cognitively demanding. It takes a lot of us. So the tendency is, we will take the feeling good right now than rather doing the thing we feel is difficult, because that one's painful, and we're not looking at long term. We're sacrificing our future selves for our present pleasure. Okay. So my invitation is, instead, get that frog out of the way. ETH or Ethereum it, eat that frog. Get it done. Get it out of the way. Because motivation is very poor, very temporary. And actually, my personal definition of motivation is the hype that others do for you so that you do their work for them. So by example, your upline will motivate you because it will make money for them. That's motivation. And Jim Rohn says motivation is like taking a bath. We need it every day. Of course, if it's not yours, if it's not natural to you, if you don't really want it, if actually it's what benefits somebody else, not you, you have to keep forcing it on you because it's not natural to you. And so you're waiting for motivation is a horrible loss to you, because motivation will hardly ever come, and it's extrinsic or coming outside of you, and it won't last long, and it won't feel good. So my invitation is, instead, figure out a system, carry out a system so you don't have to depend on mood. And an example of this is, since we're conversational hypnotists, try this. If there's something you hate doing, try doing the first 5 minutes. Okay. So can somebody mention something big that they need to work on that they've been procrastinating on? Hello.
Um, digital marketing plan. That's
The
for
what?
me.
The what?
Digital marketing plan. So that's
Okay.
for me currently.
Okay. 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 Set aside, do what it takes so that there are no distractions. And then for 5 minutes, with pen and all the papers you want, just concentrate. Set your timer for just 5 minutes and write out that digital marketing plan. And what will happen is, something kicks in called the Zeigarnik effect, where essentially when we start something, it's like a running program and it demands conclusion. It's like asking a question, and our system demands conclusion. So if you start it, it will be very hard to shake it off your system once you've started it. But what usually happens is you keep avoiding it. If instead, let's say it in a conversational hypnotist way, oh, I'll just do 5 minutes. See, it's not so painful, right? But what will usually happen is, if you start things for 5 minutes, it'll piss you off that you don't do more, or you'll get in the groove because you prepared for it, and you might do more. Oh, it's okay. I'm still working an hour and a half later. That's pretty good. Or you just did 5 minutes, but your system will look for the conclusion because you already started. The reason why many things don't ever get done is we never start them. That's one of the major problems which fixes us in the quicksand of procrastination and stagnation. One of the biggest things is, the main thing that's a problem is, we don't get done because we don't even get started. But if you get started, it's not necessarily 50%, but sometimes that's 50% of the game done. Start anyway, no matter how you feel. Are we making sense so far, guys and girls?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Definitely.
Cool. So, homework. Assign a deep work block. Okay. Block an hour and a half for tomorrow. You don't have to go by it, but prepare to do 5 minutes of work. Focused work, no distractions, nothing else. Work on something cognitively demanding, something that takes thinking, that is valuable. People will pay you for it, or it will pay itself for you, or it will make you money, energy, or time, or attention, or ability for you. It will create resources for you. Okay? Set aside 1.5 hours for just in case you get into the groove, but only do 5 minutes. Okay? And if you do more than that, great. You know, you don't have to stop yourself, but it's deep work that otherwise would not have had happened had you not started. Cool?
Cool.
All right. Have you learned stuff, guys and girls?
Oh yeah.
Yes, a lot.
Hi. Here's something to go through. In practice, returning to a hard task has a restart cost. You know, it takes priming, it takes Ethereum, it takes gas, it takes effort to go back rather than just continuing. And one of the key ways to go around this, just start. I switching frequently between tasks makes things more difficult. If you're trying to do cognitively demanding work or deep work, as Cal Newport has called it and penned it for the rest of us, you know, when you're doing that, it's useful to do whatever it takes to minimize switch tasking or fake multitasking. And one of my promises in the ad was I would teach you how Doctor Strange controls time. Anyone interested?
Yes.
Any ideas, by the way? Any ideas? People who have worked with me before. Do you remember how this goes, or do you have an idea how this goes?
We create time.
Hmm?
We create time.
Really? Can you?
Not necessarily in the way of that you literally create time, but it takes zero time to create something new, and that's enough to push you to do
Great.
something.
So, okay, zero time. So, what are you using to create something new?
It comes from the clarity of mind.
Okay.
It takes
When you
zero
talk-
time to create a good idea.
Okay, so when you're talking about ideas and creating ideas and it doesn't cost time, what are you actually spending? You're on the right track.
Yeah.
What are you actually spending? It's not time, but you work with ideas and you can create things. What are you actually spending?
Energy.
Okay, that's included. How do you control energy?
Yun.
ATT. ATTENTION.
Yeah,
Attention.
attention.
I remember this is STEM.
Yep. So
STEM,
it's
STEM and clarity of mind.
Yep. So it's T or eat. Okay.
Yeah.
The way to control time is to manage energy. The way to manage energy is to control our attention or our focus. So attention, energy, time. Okay. In reverse. if you do it the wrong way, the reverse way, it's one of Ken's favorite words. It's
What's that?
So even the way, if you go back to the movies or the comics, the way Stephen Strange does it is he has to focus. One time, he needed a diversion because he needed to concentrate on creating spells. So Spider-Man was around to help him. This was in the comics, because he needed time to focus on what he was doing. If he didn't do that, he couldn't do the spell. In the latest movie, there's also an element of this. Peter Parker kept butting in, making the spell creation difficult and dangerous. So the thing that Stephen Strange actually controls is focus or attention. Okay. And with that, he bends energy. And with that, he bends time. You guys got it?
Yep.
Okay. So homework. When we go through the audit, you'll see stuff pop up on your sheet of paper as you review your life. And my invitation for you is look at areas where you've been doing it wrong. You've been trying to control energy. You've been trying to control time when the thing you should have had tried to control is your attention. And in fact, that's the ultimate currency. That's what advertisers are trying to get. Okay. I didn't know if you knew this, but remember when we used to have newspapers?
Yes.
Like, yeah. And then there was a time when they would give it away free at burger places like Jollibee or McDonald's, or at the coffee shops. They'd give away the newspapers free, right? Remember that time?
Yes.
Okay. It's because what the newspapers are selling isn't newspapers. Riddle me this. What are the newspapers selling? Come on. What do you think?
Customers.
The shop.
Customers.
Yeah,
Customers.
Yeah.
the people.
Newspapers sell you
Yep.
to the advertisers. That's what happens on Facebook. They
Oh my
sell
gosh.
our souls to advertisers.
They're so bad.
Okay, that's why newspapers are free. That's why Facebook is free. It's to bind us, it's to control us, to sell us. Okay, because the ultimate currency, and they know this, the ultimate currency is our attention. Without it, they can do nothing. So they do what it takes, do whatever it takes to control the thing which controls everything else, which produces everything else. Ah, mind opening, isn't that? Are you getting this, guys? All right.
Yes.
Definitely.
And as you look across your life, each time you've been doing it wrong, you have been leaking energy. And if you've been leaking energy from a tank of 100, you're leaking it left and right, past, present, future, into things which are already done, into other people's focus and urgencies, and just you've been using entertainment to remove emotional pressure because you've been avoiding something else. And each time you do that, you're bleeding energy. You're bleeding attention. You're giving away your soul. And you wonder why you feel tired even if you haven't done anything yet. Okay? Are you getting this, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It may sound brutal, but the thing to control is actually your attention. That is the ultimate currency that we have as creative beings. Okay? And did you get the homework? Notice areas across your life where you've been doing it wrong, where you've been doing the shit formula instead of the attention first formula. And you'll notice that you've been bleeding energy and opportunities. You've been losing resources. You've been draining your time, losing time. You've been losing your energy. You've been losing your capacity to help other people. And this takes us back to what Romel mentioned, STEM, space, time, energy, matter. The thing to control all the other stones is actually attention. So you're looking at the mind stone. Cool. Have you got this?
Yep.
Energy flows where attention goes. You've heard this, right? So when you go through the mind dump or mind flush later, notice where you've been spending your attention and energy on, where you've been bleeding time. Here's another way for saying, if you're not in charge, someone else is, guaranteed. In quantum physics, an oversimplification of this is in any closed system where there is intelligence, there's one dominant intelligence in charge. So example, there's a group. If you don't know who's in charge, I guarantee it's not you. Because the one who knows he's in charge, chances are that's the one who's in charge. Unless it's the rest of us. You know, we think we're in charge when we're browsing through Facebook or doing social media, but no, somebody else has it. So if you're not in control, I guarantee somebody else is. And this is my invitation for you guys to find out how you can gain back control. And this is my example earlier. Turn off the lights where you don't need it. Stop wasting your energy. Stop wasting your time. So you can actually focus where that focus is useful and productive and helpful. Cool. And I said I'd share with you what we learned from life-saving medicine and surgery. It's this concept of triage. In triage, say example, there's a battlefield. We try to save those that can be saved. You know, who is still on a battlefield? Who can we still save that we need to get to first? Okay. So instead of wasting your time trying to take care of everyone, if somebody is going to die anyway, I'm sorry, this sounds brutal, but no, you have to focus on those who can still live. Okay. And so this extends across life. Where have you been bleeding energy that you cannot recover? Where are you bleeding energy that you can recover? Where can you stop the gap? Mhm. So what's the highest leverage? What's the 20% that does the 80% for you? And my invitation is focus on that first. Are you getting this?
Yes.
Yep.
So as brutal as it sounds, we have 100 COVID patients, and we know that some of them aren't going to make it, no matter what we do. We will use, if we have limited resources, we will use them on those who will survive first. As horrible as that sounds. Because otherwise, those who could have had survived will not survive. So here's my invitation too. What opportunity costs are you losing? What resources are you draining? What are you not capable of doing because you have been trying to do everything all at once, or wasting your energy on things which are just shiny and urgent and nagging from other people, meaning you're not in control? And what should you focus on instead? You got this? Are you good?
Yep.
Okay. And a way to focus on this is we all have some level of an identity or who we believe we are. If you look at this this is a section of the brain, okay, that goes right in between the left and right. That's the eyeball on one side. And you look at the pink area there, the pink fuchsia area, that's the reticular activating system. Another way of saying this is who we believe we are directs what we become alert to. So, by example, if you believe you're a cat person, you will notice cats. The moment you become a parent, you can ignore ambulances, but you will wake up to your own child's cry. Okay, it's at the identity level. So, my invitation is not only figure out who you are and what's important to you, and we can do an entire module on this. Okay, but to also find a way to automate that. If you believe you want to be something else, you had better start doing actions which prove you are that new thing. If you used to be a villain, if you don't start doing things which are hero-like, you will never believe and become a hero. Is this making sense? Hello?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. What I mean. I'll just say this in an easier way. Okay. What happens when we give in to the little addictions or we get distracted left and right? What happens is that we get a little spike of dopamine. Okay. And when for very little effort, we get some dopamine, it becomes less interesting to move when we don't get dopamine. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I'll say it in a different way. During our caveman times, if you hunted, you would get a dopamine spike if you caught a saber-toothed tiger and you could feed your family. Okay? Nowadays, we don't have to hunt saber-tooth and we already get dopamine. Consequently, because everything on our devices give us dopamine, it takes a larger and larger dose to get off our asses because it isn't rewarding enough. In reverse, if we starve ourselves of our addictions, if we stay away from them so that we can regain dopamine sensitivity, our work can be rewarding again. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So there's a funny example in the attraction seduction dating field where there's this issue with what's called PFO, porn, fap, orgasm. Okay. The long and short is people who rely on porn and then playing with themselves and then having an orgasm. Um, they're actually less interested in the real thing because they're already getting their dopamine some way else. Does that kind of make sense? Are you getting this? Are you getting this? I'm basically saying that if you don't give in to what's usually distracting you or keeping you from the work you should be doing, the work you should be doing will become more rewarding. Okay? Less distractions, more focus, more good feelings, more reinforcement, more rituals become habits, and you become better every day. Are you getting this? Hello?
Yep.
Okay. I'm also saying
It's like the illusion of it is more rewarding than the actual. Loving the fake.
Let's take Japan, for example. The land of left and right porn and all these alternatives. Very few people are dating. Less and less men are and women are interested in sex. Men think their anime waifus are so much more tame and non-scary, and so they don't want to date. And there's less and less sex happening because they're already getting their dopamine from something else. It's demotivating. Some people never leave their rooms anymore. It's not motivating enough to go meet people. It's high risk, poor reward. They already get their dopamine from something else. Is that making sense?
Yes.
And then extrapolate this to the rest of what you're doing. If you're wasting your time, energy, and attention on other things, the thing you actually need to do, deep work, isn't going to give you enough dopamine to get going.
I think
Have you got this?
it's getting the same reward with less work.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You already get a dose of we are already getting the saber tooth level of dopamine from just our devices. Okay. And we haven't hunted saber tooth. Does that kind of make sense? And so to get us off our ass, we need a higher dose. We need more stimulation. We need a bigger game. We need something more interesting. We need a bigger, brighter, new. We need a shiny new object. And advertisers know what to do. Marketers know what to do. To control us. Are you getting this?
Yep.
Bigger, brighter, shinier, better, shorter. Okay? Just because our attention span isn't so good anymore. Okay? Have you got this? Okay?
Yep.
Okay. So, homework. What one addiction can I reduce or remove? It can be simple as, 1 day a week, remove an addiction, or remove 1 hour a day from any addiction. And then you don't have to do anything with that hour. You could just enjoy it, chill, or you could assign it to deep work and see how that goes, even if it's just 5 minutes. I will do 5 minutes of deep work for every hour of Netflix. See what happens. Because used to be you'd spend 6-8 hours on Netflix every day. Are you getting this?
Yes.
Okay. And that's just a fancy slide saying a lot of things. But I hope you learned something already. But here's where I'm hoping we get, so that you enjoy life with clarity and impact. And here's an Eisenhower matrix of my own doing. I'll simplify since this isn't a broad course. There are some things you have to learn to avoid. There are some things you have to learn to limit. There are some things that you have to learn to manage. And there are things which you need to focus on to the exclusion of all else. And my invitation is to figure out which you can actually stop doing or start doing less of, and which you should start focusing more on. Are you getting this?
Yep.
Cool. Cool. And that's most of that little webinar for tonight. And a way of looking at that is, what do you need to focus on? What are your goals? What are if I had more time, I can fit it in? And what can I set aside for back burner? We have other courses as well, and we can talk about them later. Really, all of this is a chance for me to here and talk to my friends who I would like to be in more contact with, and to introduce the upcoming acceleration course to you guys. And I'd love very much if you would talk with me regarding details about that. Did you get something from this so far, guys, girls? Hello?
Yep.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. That's it for the content. Would you like to do a mini workshop?
Sure.
Sure.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yep.
Painful yes. Grabe.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. Not painful. Yes, happy.
Yes, yes, yes.
Hang on. This is stuff we've done with the bros. And I'll switch to something else. Hang on. Okay. We're back. Hang on. Let me just bring something up. Can you see my screen?
Yes, see Edison.
Yep.
Yeah.
In case you're interested,
It's Edison.
yeah, in case you were interested, this is how my screen looks.
I saw me. Oh, I'm so. Oh.
It's a little bit organized. I'll show you my task management system. So there's stuff, including stuff I need to get for other people. Okay. And here's my management system. Can you see, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is built in with my OS. It used to be separate, but there's my day and things I need to focus on. There's what's important. There's stuff I have planned, and there's stuff I have scheduled. And there's stuff which are delegated or assigned to me. There's flagged or important email. There's an inbox, which is a repository for everything. Can you see the number there?
Yeah,
10,000.
10,000. Oh my God.
625 inbox. Okay, meaning not all of that I have to do, but instead of things occupying or cluttering my mind, I put it into the inbox so I can review it later. Okay, and then from the inbox, some of it will become tasks. That's a 226 here. Okay, and then some of it from the inbox or tasks, if it takes longer than a task, it's a project. If it has more than one step, it's a project. So by example, under projects, I have the acceleration course, and then other people's stuff and my stuff, including stuff I may not be entertaining. There's this thing I saw a long time ago from what's his face, Chinky Tan. He called it an Ippon system. As you can see, I have 0 tasks under that.
Why?
Because I haven't implemented it, but it's
Oh.
in things I want to consider, but there are just higher leverage things for me to do. So by example, my acceleration course, it will have tasks under that project. Okay. And I have a separate list for a quick jotting for the acceleration course. So, and by example, there's stuff I'd like to discuss with you guys, like mini workshops I'd like to do, like overcoming depression and anxiety, and a few mini courses that falls under the large project of the acceleration course. Heuristics are just rules of thumb. Forecast is my guess for what's to happen. Focus is stuff that I should focus on, whatever that happens to be for you. And then deep work we already talked about. Cognitively demanding work, which is highly valuable. Okay. And then contexts. By example, I have alarms for certain apps, which when I'm near the place where I need to get something or do something, that task will come up. Otherwise, the task is invisible. So it's geotagged. So by example, I never think about the shopping list until I'm at the shopping place. It never comes up. I have to clear my head. Otherwise, I have a shopping list and I'm thinking about other things, and I'll forget the other stuff. And there's a sorting list here. There's what's due or urgent. There's what's important, ongoing. There's what I need to focus on. Calendar, my calendar is pretty open. I only put things in my calendar which will actually happen. So I call it in the Philippines, Sagrado Calendario, or secret calendar. It's a religion. Yeah. So some people are Sagrado Catolico. I am Sagrado Calendario, meaning I do not put shit on my calendar which will not happen. So if, by example, I put on my calendar, meet with Ken and Luigi tomorrow for lunch, that
Oh
will
my
absolutely
God.
definitely happen.
Wow.
Otherwise, it will be renegotiated or scheduled. Right.
It will happen.
Yeah, it's like work
I
now.
will wake up early.
So there's stuff I do, follow up, pending, delegation, scheduling. The scheduling here is stuff which will appear on my calendar later. Okay, there's stuff I want to do, there's stuff I want to make, there's stuff which will only come up when I'm online, there's stuff I want to learn, study. Good God, there's a hell of a lot of stuff I want to buy. I saw something from Ken's wife, where she said that her motivation for now, I hope I can bring this up, but if you keep buying things, you'll find motivation to work.
Yeah, that's her motto. Yeah.
So with that in mind, I don't think about this much, but actually I think that's quite brilliant. If you want certain things, they can be motivation and celebration for you going forward. So okay, just don't have it in reverse. I have stuff I can do when MetaMask is available. There's stuff at the bank. There's stuff for my mom, and there's other stuff, like ongoing stuff and things with my coach and other workplaces is here as well. So that's one thing. And did you learn anything from that management system? I hope it gave you ideas. Yeah.
Yep.
Hey guys. Hello. Yes. Yes. No.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. What I'd like to do for you guys is run you through a mind flush, or the old word we used to use was a mind dump. So you'll need a lot of paper for this. And the thing to do is, while I'm saying something, don't write what I'm saying, say what comes to mind. You got it?
Yep.
Essentially, whatever is on your head, we're getting out of your head so that we can work on it. So we're creating what's called a second brain. And to illustrate, hang on. Here's a second brain system. So the basic idea is, it's a para system. So there are projects that you'd like to work on. So when we do the mind dump, later you can sort it into a para system. So there's projects, actions, okay, then there's resources, reading list, and areas that you might like to focus on. Okay, projects, okay, areas that you're working on, okay. So example, stuff I want to learn, and then resources, and then archive. Archive are things which aren't resources, which aren't the other things, but I might need them later. Okay, if I learned something and I don't need it now, I can just archive it, meaning I don't have to think of it the rest of the time. Are you getting it? So hopefully, eventually, you have your own second brain system. And if you'd like, there's a whole lot of things we can discuss. And here's an example of stuff we can discuss in our mini workshops. How to goal plan, how to priority track, how to organize and optimize. Now, let me show you this by example. So you can have something that tracks many things so that you only focus on one thing at a time. Cool. And that's how I attempt to not be cluttered. And let's go through a dump of mind. Are you ready?
Yep.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. So first, what's at the top of your mind? What's on your mind right now? What's been pressing recently? What have you been thinking of? What have you been thinking too much of? What have you been wasting time on? Again, don't write what I'm saying, write what comes to mind. What do you have to do today? It's already late in the evening, but what do you still have to do? What were you supposed to have done? What should you be doing? What do you still have to do? What hasn't been handled yet? You know, what's your shit hitting the fan? What's urgent and important? Okay, what should have had been taken care of? Where are you leaking or bleeding energy? What happened last week still has your attention or that needs your attention? What's happened recently or the last few days that demands your attention or has been taking your attention or has been controlling your energy and your time? What isn't automatic that maybe should be? What is automatic that shouldn't be? What's on your calendars? What's sacred? What should you remove from your calendars? What you keep moving from day to day on your calendar but never gets done? Get it out of your calendar, put it on a task list instead. Okay, what have you been deluding yourself? A long time ago, I had calendars filled with so many tasks because my task would migrate from Monday to Friday to Saturday to Sunday to the next week. And the task list on the calendar day would just get so big because stuff I didn't get done, I would just push to the next day. Yeah, until I finally learned, okay, my calendar is sacred. Nothing appears on my calendar unless it definitely, absolutely will happen. And if it doesn't happen, it gets renegotiated. Like if for some reason I don't meet Ken and Luigi tomorrow, since it was on my calendar, it will be renegotiated as an agreement and it will happen anyway on some other day or will be dissolved. But an agreement has to happen. Okay. Otherwise, it's not on my calendar. It's not sacred. For reference, no meeting has been put on, on the calendar, but I know it's going to happen.
Yes, yes, it will. It will happen. Magic.
I'm leaving leeway for it not happening. This is a reflection of my trust. And there's just I'm trying to keep minimal the things I put on my calendar. That's actually what it is. Okay, back check on your calendar in the last week or two. You know, what's been occupying you recently in the last half month? You know, whereas your attention and time been wasted on, what have you been focusing on that you should actually be focusing on more? You know, what's the remnant of the last 2 weeks that will carry on to the rest of the month? What's supposedly for February that hasn't been done? And going forward, what do you need to do? What's up and coming? What's the forecast? What do you need to do? Pay attention on, focus on, invest in, divert to, pay for. You know, what meetings are there that are pending, upcoming, or haven't been set? What conversations? Who do you have to call, message, get in touch with? What have you been delaying? Who have you been avoiding? You know, what presentations or discussions should you make or do? What deals should you have made? Have you made? Can you be making? What family or loved one stuff do you need to tend to? What hasn't been tended to? What needs to be tended to? What will get worse or more painful if you don't attend to them? Where would you like to go if you could be anywhere? What would you rather do if you could do anything? If nothing was pressing, if you had no urgencies? What would you like to create time for? Where would you go? What would you do? There's this thing I call the Boracay effect, where people in work, they're thinking about the beach that they have planned, especially before the pandemic. And since while they're at work, they're thinking of Boracay, the beach, you know, while they're at work. They've gotten used to their mind is somewhere else where their body isn't. So what happens is the moment they're in Boracay, they're thinking about work because they've gotten so used to their mind being somewhere where their body isn't. So ask people. You'll find that some people you know that's actually happened. They thought about the beach in Boracay so much while they were at work. By the time they were at Boracay, their heads were still in work. So my invitation is plan your holy days, plan a life that you don't have to vacate or leave, so that you can be present where you are, where you're most effective, so that you can use your attention, manage your energy, control your time, so that you can have more of it to spend as you wish. What social events are coming? What do you need to tend to? What can you actually avoid? What problems have you been having? What's doable? What's not doable? What's removable? What's can handle? What's cannot handle? What's figure outable? What projects do you have? Anything that's more than one task is a project. For some people, some things never get done on their task list because they put it down as a task, but it isn't a one step. If it's more than one step, it's a project. So it'll keep appearing on their task because it's too big for a task. It's a project. If you break it down into tasks and you work on one task at a time, it can get done. So what are your projects? What are your actual tasks? What have you not figured out yet that you should figure out soon? What isn't yours? What should you delegate? What are you planning? What should you plan? What should you strategize about? What's highest leverage? What's Pareto's 20? What's focus for you? Where are you bleeding? Where should you stop bleeding? Where's your house drowning? Where should you stop the leak? What are your tasks? What are your to-dos? What are your remakes, redos, revamps, fix-its? What are your, if I have time, I would like to, but aren't really priorities. What are just good ideas, but you won't do anything about them right now. No need to think about them too much. Set them aside, archive them. Now, walk through your places and contexts. Walk through your work, however that is. Walk through your home. Walk through your old town. Walk through your old neighborhood. Walk through places you go through in your mind. And what's there that has your attention? What do you need to do? What do you need to take care of? At home, there's what you can see and what you can't see. And there's even seasonal stuff. It's going to be rainy season soon. What do you need to tend to? That has to be fixed before rainy season. What needs repair? What needs changing? Needs fixing? Needs to be upgraded, gotten rid of, including maybe old feelings associated with things around the house. So you could Marie Kondo it, what gives you joy, what doesn't. What conversations haven't you had that you need to have, that you want to have, that you can avoid, that you can't get enough of? Stuff that, well, it's a Peter Parker thing, whether it's an Uncle Ben or a May Parker, Power comes from responsibility. And what do you need to what do you need to tend to? What do you need to get handled? What kind of shit do you have to get in order? What do you need to do well? What do you need to live well? What responsibilities do you actually have? Which are seemingly your responsibilities, but not yours, that you've been trying to do, which have been difficult for you to do because they're not yours. You don't have to do those. What things do you have to clean up or fix up? And what are your next action steps? The first next action step, the first physical thing you can do in the next 2 to 5 minutes from any item on your list. What are your action steps? And that's one of my invitations for you tonight. As you go through your notes and everything you learned tonight, what actions can I take that can improve my life, that are the 20% most impactful, and reduce them to the first next action. If you do the first action, it'll piss you off if you don't do more. That'll be fun. That'll be fun to be compelled forward by something useful. What do you need to research or learn? What are you responsible for? What are you responsible for? What are your accountabilities? What are your possibilities? What are opportunities? What are your opportunities ignored or missed? What cost you too much? What cost too little that you didn't do? What can't you do now because you didn't focus on it? What are your someday maybes, I used to think I should learn Mandarin, but really there's other stuff I should be doing. I used to think I would, learn the piano, but now that's on my someday maybe, later. When there's nothing else to do and there's nothing more productive to do. Maybe, but I don't have to. And since I figured out there's some things I don't have to do, I can focus on the things I would like to do. What does it mean for you to be a pro? What can you develop more? What can you become better at? What can you become excellent at, great at, significant at? Who do you need to reach out to? What technology do you need to learn? What new things do you have to figure out? People, who do you want to meet? Who do you want to deal with? Who do you want to stay in touch with? Who do you want to ignore? Who should you ignore? Yeah. There are going to be vampires there. You don't need to give them your energy. There are people who feed you and there are people who bleed you. Might as well figure out who and which and how and why. What are your projects? What needs fixing around the house or in your life? What equipment do you need? What needs to be cleaned, figured out, worked at, handled? Staff or scholars or people you work with, or colleagues, fellow students, or fellow professionals. What needs to be done there? Banking, finance, what needs to be done? What investments? What retractions? What diversions? What do you need to build? You need to acquire. What would you like to make out of your life with it? How do you do that? Other possibilities or opportunities you have across the areas of your life: relationships, family, friends, your networks, finances, including your assets and investments, and your health. Good grief. Maybe that's important too. What can you do there? What drives you? Like from within. Like you don't need motivation, you like doing it. It's not a distraction. What do you like doing? What could you get lost in for several hours and enjoy? Is there some way to make deep work out of that? Or is it deep work? Is it useful and does it take much? But if you figure it out, it'll do lots of good for many people. What's that for you? Pets, pet friends, creative expressions, your arts, your gear, your to-do, your electronics. If there was something you haven't put on paper yet that you should, what would it be? What have you decided on to do? What have you not decided on to do? What do you need to process? What do you need to clarify or subtract from to get the core of? What do you need to get to the minimum effective dose of? What's the smallest thing that will make it work? And whatever else comes to mind to take care of, to work with. What feeds you, what bleeds you. It can even be food or energy. And finally, what would cause you grief? And the reverse, what would cause you relief? I hope you got something from that. Hello, everyone.
Yep, still here.
Yep.
Did you like that?
What?
If you don't have a ton of notes, I don't know how you're doing it.
Good news yan, good news pag ganun.
Yeah. Even for those of you who do a regular mind sweep or do a weekly review or a daily review, mine used to be Sunday mornings, 8:00. So even for those of you who regularly do this mind flush, this mind sweep, this mind dump, I'm sure you still wrote stuff down, right? Jeremy? And my invitation is for you to, before you sleep, start circling out things which are tasks. And then writing, if it's not a task, write the first next action step that you can do next to the things which are maybe projects or resolvables. and get your almighty red marker and cross out anything that actually you don't need to pay attention to, that's been occupying your mind, that doesn't need to. You'll have a lot of that. The process of clarity, of clarification, is removal of the non-essential so that we have the critical, minimal, most impactful that would be useful for us to keep focusing on. Cool. Are you good?
Yeah.
Everyone?
Yep.
You got something from this?
Yes, a lot.
Yeah. Thanks. Can we have a quick round robin, quick share what you got, what feels the most useful that you got from tonight, even if it's just one thing or a few things, really quickly, and then keep passing the ball. Kindly share. Could we start with Luigi?
Okay. So first thing that comes to mind is stuffs to stop. So it's easy to remember. So and we've had all these workshops, and this is just the first time it came to mind. So it's good. There's one other thing. Wait, let me check this. The reason why we don't get things done is because we don't start them. So it's really basic, but it can't get as simple as it is. So it's real. It's real. So what else? There's one last thing. So I can let the other shares. Wait, let me find it. Where is it? Where is it? One thing that's new is what one addiction can I remove? Or like it's like a road to change. So but it's something specific. So
there you go.
Like like to test it.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
I think I know that's it. That's it for me. Okay, let me just browse through the notes.
Cool.
All good there. Yeah.
Thanks, man. I hope I hope you enjoy this.
Yeah.
Everyone else, you can talk about anywhere in the course, or if you got the most impactful stuff, or it's freshest on your memory from the mind dump, go ahead. But if we could all just share at least one thing that was the biggest thing that you got from tonight, and what you're gonna use it for. Please pass the ball, Luigi.
Syempre, Ken.
Go, okay, yes, of course. Of course, one thing that's important is to start. Diba? So even though I love being a procrastinator and it has helped me, I do think with the knowledge that Strix has shared today, I would also love taking action now. So I have to shift my love for procrastination to a love of taking action. And yeah, and it's fairly important also to one thing that I wrote down here was look at the areas in where you're doing it wrong. I always I love looking at or paying attention to the things that I've been doing right. But yeah, it's also something that to put focus and attention to what you're doing wrong. I do think that it would also help me create awareness, and I personally believe that with awareness comes change. So yeah, thank you. Yeah. I
Thanks,
pass
bro.
the ball.
Could I comment really quickly?
Yeah, you could quickly comment and comment quickly.
I learned from being friends with you all these years how useful it is to see the lazy way. Because no, seriously, I've found that lazy people are some of the most brilliant people, because they can find a way to do things in the last minute, and sometimes they're the most efficient. You know?
Oh my god.
So
and then make it
my
more lazy.
exposure. Yeah. But you could get it done beforehand. Okay. And there's something I learned from James Vardy, which is POP, which is procrastinate on purpose. The thing, if you're good at procrastinating, you can procrastinate on stuff which really don't serve you for the moment. So you could spend the time on something else. If you're a good procrastinator, why not procrastinate on purpose? Pop the stuff which isn't useful.
Yeah, everything's on purpose. Yeah. Even
Cool.
mix on purpose.
Pass the ball, brother. Thank you.
I pass the ball to Amira.
Who probably can't talk.
Yeah, mine is just motivation
She
won't
can
come.
She can talk, right?
Yeah, it's just
What?
motivation won't come, and the Loki part was really interesting. The mood thing.
You like Loki lies.
Yeah, and the mood one. And I
Mm.
pass it on to Casey.
Hey, hey, hey.
Sunshine
All right.
Band.
Mhm. What I liked here earlier we talked about, I forgot where it's playing on, but there was something you said. An agreement has to happen. So it can be with agreement with yourself or with somebody, things like that. But it's having that. I guess you would say like a deal has to happen. You know, to make a little bit shorter languaging. So that like that clicked something within me when maybe I could add some more to stuff that we've been doing. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I will pass it to Olive.
Hi. Okay. All right.
Okay.
I learned a lot. I think my first encounter was with Hypnocom, the virtual one. That was the time that I learned about car drivers, and I actually cried when I learned mine. And Strix, you have a very good way of kind of like getting answers in a shorter time. So I also learned about my introversion just with your random Zoom. I think with Ken also. So I just wanted to highlight that. I was also part of Radio Reality. Yes. What I've learned in this session and to incorporate or integrate my journey um, with my experiences with you and along with Ken also is I learned to embrace my procrastination as a talent. Learning and embracing your darkness and what may be perceived as, I mean, playing with perception, which is a normal word also of Ken, sorry. Um, Anyways, I learned to embrace those things and learn to manage them better. So I also learned to love the things to learn from people that I like. It's not normal for me to do. So it's just an example. And this is sound.
Keep going.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah. Oh, and then last thing is what I learned tonight is to sort things out on paper. I think this is very impactful for me today. I'm going through something very big, and I I have a habit of just sorting things with my mind. So I'm thankful. Strict, you have this. That's why whenever you pop a Zoom link without even really knowing what is it for, I jump in because you never wasted our time. That's what I can say and attest. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I wonder who that is. Please pass the ball. Do you have any idea who that is, Ken? So I can.
Mute. I think it's Lex.
Who?
Lex.
Hang on.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. All good now. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Who's next, please?
Pass the ball. Olive, you got to pass the ball.
Oh, I forgot I have the ball. Okay. I'll pass the ball to. Oh wait. Um. Uh. Jay. Reba. Yeah.
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 Hi, Jay.
Hey, hi. Still
Dude.
part. What's up, Ken?
Yeah, you got something from this? High
Yeah,
expectations.
yeah. Actually, some of them was actually relearning stuff. Had previous courses like this as well on the previous job. So
Did you get?
um,
Did you write down action points?
yeah. With regards to the last part, I have a few of stuff, personal
All
stuff
right.
actually. Pero
Sure.
yeah, but one of the things that I've learned from this is that attention is really binding. As long as people gets your attention, they have their meaty hands on you already. So yeah,
No shit, man.
that's a good thing. Also, let me check on my notes here a bit.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that there's no such thing as multitasking. You can only switch up. I've had that already before, but people stuff in the workplace always tell you to do multitask is the key to getting better. So yeah, it's an eye opener for me. And also the difference between serotonin and dopamine was fine. It was good regarding the you need to actually provide something at the end to have the dopamine kick in. So yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of things to
Yeah. What's
to
surprising
digest.
about that actually for me was that we don't get rewarded when we get the thing. We get rewarded dopamine in the anticipation.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
So if we build a life where there's something to look forward to, we'll always be falling forward. Progress, man. Yeah. So I guess
Yeah,
that's an invitation. Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to share, or would you like to pass the ball, man?
I I'm fine passing the ball up. Jeremy, perhaps he has a lot of notes.
Yeah, Jeremy is the guy.
Jeremy,
Well, it's a good thing.
Jeremy.
It's something that echoed with me when you said about the triage example about about saving people, and the connection that I made with that is hopefully na makatulong rin sa iba is about the classical hero that even though humans are given the power of gods, the thing that limits them the most is being rooted in reality, which is being rooted in being human. And the thing that I connected with it is that we're learning these things as if they're superpowers when they're not, and which makes me more kinder to myself because I'm learning something new that that is already in me but I haven't seen before. That's something that echoed with me. Yeah.
Cool.
I'll pass the ball to Kuya Romel.
Oh, yeah. So sa akin dalawa lang. I have to my two biggest takeaways are this. First is the opportunity cost. I haven't realized this before. Like yeah, it's painful to admit that I've been wasting like years, not just days or weeks or months, but years. And I don't want to increase those ways anymore. And the second thing is this is very practical. Like do things like for the next 5 minutes. Like do them for just 5 minutes. And I tried this before. I haven't realized that I've been doing this. That's why I'm not consistent in applying this. Like before, I tried to let's say, I'm so pissed with this kitchen, so I'm gonna try to clean it for the next 3 minutes, 5 minutes, until I noticed myself that okay, it's done. But as Strix pointed it out tonight, oh, I think I'm gonna do this more often. So yeah, thanks for that, Strix.
You're welcome. Can I point something out?
Sure.
Romel, all of my technology is rooted in neuroscience. So by example, this is just a reverse engineering of, by example, how we get trapped in Netflix. Oh, I'll just look for 5 minutes. Then 5 hours later, you're still on Netflix. So in reverse, if we do that, I'll just explore this little project for 5 minutes. You might spend 5 good hours on that solid project.
Yeah, actually, that's actually true because I tried that in anime sites, so I can't relate with
There you go.
Netflix.
So
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's just reverse engineering of all that, my man. And then the second thing I wanted to point out is how should we say this? The unknown super secret that marketers, consultants, and coaches never talk about because they never realize. Haba ng blurb ng marketer here. Is that um, this one of the hidden secrets to scaling is understanding opportunity loss, opportunity cost.
Tama na, sakit na.
Scaling secret. Okay. Okay. Pass the ball, my friend.
Yeah. Sino ba yun dito? Yeah, si Kin. Kin Petalino. Yung mga naghihilig na din yun. Si ano na lang, Kevin. Mark, bro.
So my key takeaway here in Sir Strick's seminar is the three lucky lies. So I learned a lot there, and the doing things in the first 5 minutes, and then okay, the things I can do, so I do, and then the things that I can delegate, I must delegate. So I need to. It's like instead of playing a chess na nakaupo, sitting, I need to play chess uh, standing up so I will see the whole picture, see an objective, and maybe okay, I will start doing a vision board because yeah, the one thing that I think I feel that I'm lacking is something to look forward to, because if even though I want to transform, I want to change, if I don't have something to look forward to, it's like beating the bush around and going. It's like a rocking chair. It gives you work, but it gets you nowhere. That's all.
Good job, man. You managed to point out something that's for another workshop as well, but you pointed out the difference between locomotion or ambulation or movement and just moving. These are two very different things, and this is actually a critical distinction that I share in the formal course. But you already pointed it out. It's the difference between moving forward and just moving back and forth in a rocking chair. That's a very big thing. Yeah. So it's one of those things where we stop playing with ourselves and move forward. So good job. I'm glad you got something really useful from this, and I hope you join us for our future workshops.
Yes, thank you, Sir
Thanks, and
Strix.
thank you. And please
Okay,
pass the ball, man.
okay, I pass the ball to Cherry.
Okay, so what I learned is about rewarding myself. So we get a cake from anticipation from the reward. So I haven't been rewarding myself. So then I need to reward myself. That's yung one of the biggest problems of procrastination is fake perfectionism. Masakit to because I'm a perfectionist. So I do have a habit. If I can't do it perfectly, I'd rather not do it.
Exactly.
So that's something to work on myself. And well, with regard to multitasking, I know it's not really possible, but sometimes you have to, especially if you're a solo parent, and you just need to learn how to balance it.
Yeah.
That's all. Thank you.
Thanks. The key to multitasking Siya, is if you must, since you know there's going to be a cognitive slur or cognitive sludge from from one activity to the next activity, they have to be not at the same cognitive level of demand. So if one activity doesn't require you thinking and the other activity requires you thinking a lot, that's workable. If you have two cognitively demanding things and you're supposed to multitask between the two, it doesn't happen. What's going to happen is you're going to lose some data, definitely, as you go between one and the other. So by example, you could consider it as signal noise. So I can have the radio playing as long as the songs, Spotify running, YouTube running, as long as it's not something that gets my attention enough. Otherwise, my focus will go there. So it can still be carrier or noise or background noise, and I can still have signal. Okay, but the signal has to be stronger than the noise. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But if
Yeah.
it's too cognitive in nature, it's too technical, how do you
No,
manage it?
it's one at a time. So what I would suggest is block it. So do this first exclusively, and then do a non-cognitively demanding task, and then do the next cognitively demanding task. Okay, and then chances are you can get done in 30 minutes what would have taken per task, what would have taken you 5 hours if you were trying to do them together. Does that kind of make sense?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So you deep work one thing, leave a break or do something else, and then deep work the other thing. Okay. But to attempt to deep work at the same time, it doesn't work. For reference, try leaving the house on time while you're watching something really engaging on Netflix. It will be difficult to make it to your meeting on time. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that. You have to choose your battles. Really, you can take this for testing, but you really have to choose. And it's just one deep work item at a time is the way to get it done faster.
Okay.
I hope that helps though. Yeah.
I pass the ball to Rona.
Okay. One of the things that I learned is to really start what you don't like to do, and then if it's a project, then you just have to divide it to small tasks so that you can start. Then the 5 minutes, and then the having creating a calendar, like the follow ups, the what needs to be done, and the mind dump is really useful from my it's from the first workshop that I attended with you. It just made realization that before the thing the thing that makes me not focus or not productive is because I have a lot of things in my mind. So that's it. So mind dump is really very useful to me.
Thank you. Cool. Time to do this more regularly, no?
Yeah.
Kindly pass the ball.
Okay, I'm going to pass the ball with Miss Dea.
I guess pass the ball to someone else.
All right. How about Miss Anne?
Hi, good evening.
Oh.
This is my first time. I'm sorry. I'm not sure if I'm crashing the event, but I saw that there's a webinar by Dr. Strick, so I just decided to hop in. Hope it's okay. But anyway,
You got something from this?
yes, sorry. Yeah, okay.
Michelle.
So, yes. My favorite part was about breaking big tasks or projects into tasks because before I thought I was doing it right. The tasks are already manageable enough or for me to finish in a short span of time. But then again, I realized that I still haven't broken it down into smaller pieces. That's why I feel like I'm not accomplishing things. And I'm starting to realize that, yeah, I was doing things wrong before, and I fell in love with para the system that you're using. So it's very organized, and yeah, I think I'm going to apply some of those in my systems. Yeah, that's about it.
Great. We'd like to see how you do. And definitely, if you need more help, there's the buddy system we're going to have. So you should have two other people to buddy with you. And then you could talk about what you've learned. A few things, actually. You group yourselves in groups of three, you with two other participants from tonight. Then you go over what you learned, what you're doing, what you've done or accomplished, and how you've celebrated. Cool. And we should have at least one item done by Friday. Okay. So, it can be a short project or a task that's been running or a little bit of deep work. but you should have discussed with your buddies, what you've learned, what you've done with what you've learned, what you're still working on, what you've accomplished, and how you've celebrated. Cool.
Cool.
And please pass the ball, Anne. Who else? And thanks for joining us, by the way. We hope you see you. We hope you see you in the upcoming workshops.
Yeah, I just signed up to the link, but yeah, yes, I'm sorry if I crash. So I think,
No worries.
Sorry, who hasn't been called yet? Joyson, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for joining us, and we'd like to see more of you in the upcoming future, in the near future.
Hi, Strix. Hi, everyone. Can you still hear me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it's on being tired without getting anything done. This is very me. Yeah, this is very me. I'm the type of person who'd like to strategize, plan, and have all those tasks in order. It brings that dopamine flux towards me, no? So I feel good with that. But there is a missing critical item that that I've always been guilty about. So it's more on the power of implementation, execution, and always this actually reminded me the importance of always think that progress over is always important over perfection. We have to implement and fail fast so that we could calibrate than to plan, and until the end of it all, only to find out that what we are doing is just a misalignment of everything else since from the start. So that's my takeaway on this session. So thank you, Strix, for reminding me that.
You're very welcome,
I'm
and
very guilty on this.
you're very welcome, Gatichas, and you're cordially invited to something I'm calling ID4 after the movie Independence Day. In this case, it's Implementation Day 4. Implementation Day, 4 hours. All we're going to do is implement. Yeah. So that should be fun. And who else? Who have we not spoken with? And thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I think it's Lexi, no?
Okay.
She's still around.
She's still around. Yeah. Hi. If not, I think we're pretty good with wrapping up. Again, the invitation stands. I'll keep you posted. I'm trying to do an alpha and beta run. If you're in on the alpha run, you can join us on the beta run, probably at no additional cost. And I'm trying to do a local run since I have some idea how much the international run is, and it might be prohibitive for some people. And I really wanted to run this with a small group of friends first, so there'll be a larger run than this for the acceleration course itself. But yeah, I hope to see everybody for that. I promise it will be very useful, and anything you input will help us design the better, larger course. So what I'm hoping will happen, Joyson, is that what we're doing is acceleration. Basically, I figured out that the opposite of procrastination is acceleration. So to set that momentum, so to set that going forward, and to not get trapped in stagnation. So we're going to look at all of the elements, including the emotional elements, which keep us stuck. And on top of that, core anti-procrastination or destruction of procrastination course, which is acceleration, to maybe append an upgraded version of the focus blueprint. So it might be a piggyback or an additional that people can only get if they get the formal acceleration course. But anyway, this is what I'm hoping and planning. In the meantime, I'm hoping to do lots of small mini workshops, all of which will be hopefully appended as freebies for the paid program. But I'm hoping to run micro workshops like we did a mind dump now. I hope the next time, as Anne pointed out, she got stuff from the second brain system, the para system. I'd like to be able to go through each of those in detail. At least just 20% so that it's executionable. Okay, you don't need to know like everything before you start, but I'd like to be able to start everything decently. Yeah, so we could go through that. Well, hey, we didn't hear from Julius. Julius, what did you get from this? Are you there? And who else, by the way, haven't we heard from? Julius, are you still there? And does anyone else want to share before we go? Hello.
Yeah, just that this has been useful, especially for like specifically me. I've been doing a lot and really being able to just hone in and do like deeper work. So thank you for this session.
You're welcome, and thank you for being here. Thank you. And Julius, are you there? Anyone else? If there's nothing else, if there's no one else at the moment, I think we're good for now, I guess. And thank you for joining us, everyone. And I hope to see you at the next micro workshops, which will be like the mind dump. It'll be intensive. You'll need lots of paper. But we'll get stuff done and we'll get it to action and implementation. And then let's make this a very, very interesting, useful year moving forward.
Super, thank you, Strix, and
thanks, bro.
I'll also pray to Joyson. Thank you, Joyson, for
Mabuhay.
you're being my
Amen.
partner. Yeah. And super thanks, Strix. See you tomorrow.
Good night, everyone, and see you guys tomorrow.
Night.
Thank you, Strix.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Strix.
Everyone,
Bye.
nice
Sisters.
seeing
Goodbye.
everyone.
Cheers. Goodbye.
Jeremy, sleep early.
See you.